Halifax, very close game, very defensive battle, but I mean, you said you did a whole Warren Hill take, and it was. Tell us the game. What a crazy game! You were there too.
It was nuts. The first and foremost, the atmosphere was awesome.
Yeah,
Near
10,000
in the nest, 10,000. Very, very good. It started out a little bit slow and sleepy. You could tell the fans were looking to try to cheer for something, but both defenses, the goaltenders were great. And I came on this program on Friday at Morning Shoot Around, basically dropping all this knowledge about how, hey, look it. Doug Jamieson owns this Thunderbirds team. He's 5-1 in his career. His save percentage is off the charts. His goals against average is unbelievable. It all kind of came to fruition, but the other side of the coin was Warren Hill. I did not have that on my bingo card. I did not have him having a historic performance, becoming just the third goalie in NLL history to let up a 2 spot with Matt Vince and Bob Watson, one Hall of Famer, one future.
They're not bad.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good, I would say. But to be quite honest, like I think it was pretty poetic considering coming into this year, whenever you heard a debate about Halifax and the Thunderbirds, it was, is their goaltending good enough? Yeah. Is it now time to hand the reins over to Hutchison? Do they need to go out and get a goalie? And yes, I know it's one game. Let's be honest, Mike. There's no he's going to be able to play like this all season long. But if he can play half as good, 3/4 as good, this is a championship contending team. Now let's just wait and see, though. This is just one game. I'm not going to overreact, although you're bringing me in here to overreact. But let's not overreact just yet. But you got to give credit where it's due. Warren Hill and that defense was superb.
Yeah, Doug Jamieson, to your point, by the way, was 35 of 43. And the fact they only gave up 43 shots, like, oh, that's a good game for him. Really good. That's not bad. Eight goals. Like, give me a break here.
Yeah, three of them were empty netters. Let's not forget. It was 8-2 until, Armstrong, Bell, and Peterson ended up having those empty netters. So Jamieson was great. It was not, you can't hang it up on the defense. I thought their defense played great. There were stretches where Halifax offense couldn't get to the inside. They kind of looked out of sync. But man, it was just the Thunderbirds defense, which again, not taking anything away from Warren Hill, because he was unreal.
He missed some great saves, but yes.
He really did. But Halifax did limit this Oshawa team a lot to the outside. A lot of shots perimeter, really struggled to get to the middle of the floor. So I think there is some cause for concern here if you are an Oshawa fan after 2 games watching that offense.
I should not have texted you that question because now you're just going to say it for me. Come on, now this guy. No, we'll get to that. But it wasn't for a lot. Like, I know Frick said one of his best bets was over whatever the goal total was for Alex Simmons. Now, 2, assuming when you take 15 shots on goal, not terrible, I'd say. But man, like you said, it was all outside. Simmons, I believe, in like the game against Toronto, was able to get inside a couple times. Like you said, they were limiting him outside. Ty Kurtz gets 2, and Oshawa, that's their highlight reel for the night.
Yeah, first time ever. Shout out to Graham Perro.
Yes.
If I'm allowed to give him shout outs on this.
One guy with 2 goals.
Yeah, Ty Kurtz became the first player to be the only one to score for his team. Simmons, to be honest, Mike, a majority of those shots were from the outside, but he did get to the inside a few times as well, just wasn't able to beat Warren Hill. The thing that kind of really jumped off the page for me was Simmons. Not only did he have 16, I think they ended up correcting it. It was 16 shots on goal. He had 9 off goal. Something was just not.
I see.
For the first time ever in his career, held with 0 points. He was frustrated all night long, had 3 turnovers. Halifax just did a really good job forcing him in areas to shoot the ball from the outside. Again, at some points, it just felt like Oshawa was like, I don't know what else we can do here. You throw out the game plan and just try whatever you can.
Correct. Shout out to Halifax. And one more thing before we get to our overreactions was to this game, when this game ended, there was now the teams that won the face-off battle were 5-0 to start the year. I know you saw that post because you liked it, and that's what. Thank you, algorithm. But yeah, they were 5-2 at that point. So because Withers dominated, because that's what he does. All
Yeah,
right.
he dominates against the best in the league, and this is not a knock on Mike Byrne. He's one of my favorite players to watch in the league. He's a true gritty player, but he's not he's not a true face-off guy. So no doubt he's going to get work. But it was a masterclass from Jake Withers from start to finish at the dot.
He had really kind of a down year last year, though I think he was hurt a little bit too. But good to see him back in form. All right, so
he was one of my dark horse picks for MVP.
Withers
On the OTCB, I said that was one of my dark horse picks for MVP.
Shout out OTCB. Yeah. There you go. All right, so we got 2 overreactions / instant reactions here. Does this one game prove Halifax is legit? And legit is obviously vague.
Legit is very vague.
Here's
what I will say. No, I don't think so yet. And okay. I'm on the record that I said I think Halifax is going to be a top 5 team. I think I'm one of few people that still was giving Halifax credit as a team. But with that being said, it is just one game. The offense left a little bit to be desired at some points. They only finished with those 8 goals. 3 of them obviously were empty netters. Now, do I think they're going to be a top 5 team? Yes. My opinion on this team doesn't change, but I still think that there are some concerns with losing Thomas Hogarth, which sounds like for the full year. Thank goodness they went out and got Brendan Bomberry in the offseason, because now, boom, you pluck him up front, but now you got to fill a hole back in transition. Certainly something that you don't want to see. So for me, let's pump the tires. I still think they're going to be a great team. Does it make them automatically a championship contending team? I don't know about it. Let's see what happens in game 2. Let's see if Warren Hill he's not going to replicate it, but if he can have a similar performance and can look like that legitimate number 1, then I think we can start saying, okay, championship contender. But right now, I'm going to pump the brakes. Let's not overreact just a bit too much.
I'm going to say it does not prove they're legit, because my definition of legit in this context is, I'm like, okay, you were up there with the contenders or you're creep. I would be lying though if I said they didn't prove anything to me, because they showed, just like Saskatchewan eventually did, which we're about to get to, they showed to me they should be at least still in the kind of a conversation of we're at least a playoff team. And I did not pick them to make the playoffs. God, there's dust in the room too. I'm kidding. But no, I feel like that Halifax at least proved something. I don't know what it was, but I can't act like that didn't happen. I mean, I don't care how, like you said, if Warren Hill plays half as good, they still win a bunch of games playing like they did. So I trust the offense.
For sure. So do I. I do trust that they're going to turn things around. There's no doubt about that. But like I mentioned, 0 goals in that third quarter. They come alive a little bit in the fourth. I just think it's too early just from one performance. And I can't really change my opinions too much.
Because you were already,
I was already high on them.
Correct.
Right? But for others that said, they're going to miss the playoffs this year, then yes, I could see how that maybe changes your opinion on this group. I think the biggest measuring stick game is this week, going up against Buffalo in Banditland.
Yes, sir.
Let's have this conversation Monday if Frick decides to hit the snooze button again, and then I can let you know, okay, are they legit? Let's wait to see after a performance in Banditland.
I'll also be lying if I said that I thought Buffalo's going to win. After this game, I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. So, one more thing I want to get you about Warren Hill. Dawson, I don't know if you read the Isle Indoor article from Dawson.
I did, yes.
He made a really awesome point, which no one, I don't think, talked about going into this game. In the Man Cup, Warren Hill was benched for Doug Jameson. Not saying they're not friends, because I'm sure they are. Warren Hill saw him across the pond there and held it down better, even though Doug was also awesome. So I thought that was a great point by Dawson. There might have been a little extra motivation there to kind of say, hey, I'm still here. I thought that was a great point by Dawson. I had to mention that. All right. Speaking of offense, though, Oshawa has 10 goals in 2 games. Give me a panic meter out of 10 for the offense. You can go 0, but up to 10. 10
I'm
being,
going
oh
like
my God.
6,
Okay.
7.
Ah, God. All right, go ahead.
I swear
We'll
to
say
God, I did
6.5.
not mean to do that. I apparently said 6, 7 on the broadcast, and I didn't hear it. Someone
How
caught it.
dare you, sir?
I
Grow
know.
up.
I know. I can't believe I just did that, to be honest.
I don't either.
I'm a little bit concerned, but it is early. But as we know in the National Lacrosse League, it gets late early on.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, when you look at the way that this team kind of has trended in the first 2 games, very, very top heavy.
Yep.
It has been their big guns who have been the only one. I mean, no one
Kirk,
really.
Dyson, and Simmons. Yeah.
Those are the ones that are driving the bus. Sure. Ethan Walker had the 2 goals in that fourth
Yeah, but he
quarter.
wasn't doing a lot of offense, though.
No,
Last game,
no, not
first game.
no, not really. And it was just a big fourth quarter from him. I'll be honest, Kyle Jackson and Jonathan Peshko, I know they're depth pieces,
Right.
but as a depth piece, you have to look alive here. You can't just be
Yes.
a guy that's going to crash and bang. You got to chip in with a couple of assists here and there. You got to get a goal. Of course, when the offense is struggling, it's going to be your top dogs that are going to drag you out of the fight. But I think they need more from those depth pieces. It can't just be Simmons, Kurtz, and Wilson being the Williams being the only 3 guys contributing. Mike, it can't happen.
Their shots on goal are ridiculous right now, or the shots in general. I do want to say before I get to my point here, before I get to my panic meter rating, Nathan Grennan was a guy who was there a couple years ago. I have said since they let him go, that was a bad loss. And I promise you with Rochester, now they've got injuries, he's going to step up. I promise you, you want to have him on this team right now.
He would look great on that left side. They
he's not
need
afraid to
someone.
shoot.
No, they need someone who can come in and free up some space for Dyson, free up some space for Walker. They need that depth piece. And a guy like Grennan would look great. And another guy who would look pretty good too, and they had him, was Eric Fennell.
There you go.
Those are 2 guys that jump out to me, right? Yeah, turtleneck. 2 guys that can crash and bang. They don't need the ball in their stick too often to contribute, but when they do, like you said, they can shoot it as well. So depth is concerning for me. Simmons is going to be fine.
Yes.
Kurtz is going to be fine. Dyson's going to be fine.
Yes.
Who else on this offense is going to step up and help out? That's my concern. Also, would love to see some more transition. Will Johansson has been snake bit. He has been an absolute animal. I think if he had a couple more points, we'd be talking about, is this a guy who could be in the transition player of the year conversation? But Tchaikovsky had 2, like in the opener. Will Johansson doesn't have anything. This is a too athletic of a defense not to be jumping up and contributing. That's another way that you can help your offense out when they're struggling. Score one of those juice goals in transition. Get your team all fired up. We haven't been able to see that either.
Yeah, and I think that their passing is so good. Like, why not try it? Like, you guys are too good. You're 2-on-1. Try it.
Yeah, the other issue is sometimes when that happens, Mike, because your offense is looking into to getting into a funk. Sometimes the defense feels pressured, like, "Hey, let's pull this out. Let's get it to our offense. Let them get their touches." Right?
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
Right. Instead of, okay, I'm going to take it because now your offense is sitting on the bench for another 30. Now they're coming on the floor. Maybe they force the issue. So it's a little bit of a catch-22 with that, but it's my hand is hovered over the panic button for this offense. I'm not slamming it just yet. The good thing about it is the defense has played really well. Doug Jamieson has played really well. They can hold down the fort for a little bit while you figure it out offense, but they can't be doing this for too long.
Correct. That being said, I'm at a 2.
Okay.
Which is why I actually like this question.
Wow.
The reason why, and I don't know if you thought about this, because I texted you this question like 10 minutes before the show. That was my fault. Pat, who have they played? Bad defenses are pretty. Yep. There you go. Okay, so that was. I'm like, and I'm not saying it's not an excuse, but it may explain a little bit, because I feel like I want to see this team. Give me like 5 weeks later, if they're still like barely cracking 10, we have an issue, and that can happen. But for right now, I'm going to give them a little bit more time to gel, even though they really don't have an excuse not to gel. I still think they'll be fine. But you're right. We're getting there. But two great defenses, I can only chalk it up to that so far.
It's a great point. You go up in week one against Toronto, one of the best defensive groups
And Nick Rose.
in the game. Nick Rose, who was great for about 3.5 quarters of that game.
Yeah.
And then you go up against Halifax, who's a great defensive team, but an all-time historical performance.
That's what I'm saying. So
they got Georgia this week, who looked great against Buffalo. How are they going to be able to replicate that performance? Right. They also ended up getting kind of lit up a little bit in that second half when the guys started to come to life. This could be a get-right spot for Oshawa. If they struggle to score the ball here, Mike, then I think we're talking about Panicville, because week 4, they go back home to Oshawa, and guess who rolls into town? The Vancouver Warriors.
Yeah, so I can see the panic button even though I'm at a 2, for the record.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Like I said, it's hovering. This is a panic button. My hand is over it. I'm not hitting it yet, but I'm close. I will say this, though. Whoever was the schedule maker did not do them any favors. 4 straight weeks in a row. Toronto, Halifax, at Georgia, and then at home to Vancouver. That is 4 very, very hard games to open up your season.
It's also 4 traveling games, technically, because you can say it's 2 home games. You still have to travel.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, no one even thinks about that.
But could you imagine if they were still playing in Albany? It would be 4 complete travel games for them.
We're not allowing that on the show. The Albany slander will not be tolerated. I'm kidding.
Okay.
All right. So, Mr. Oshawa over here. Already, the Rush did end up beating and covering on multiple books, including your own, 16-13. I don't know how they did that, but they did. So a balanced Rush offense. Austin Shanks, Zach Mans, and Robert Church all had at least a hat trick. And a bunch of guys also had multiple goals as well to pile on. But the Rush let them get back in it. But what did you see from Saskatchewan? And how the heck did Calgary come back?
Well, first and foremost, what I saw from Saskatchewan is a team, again, that doesn't care who scores the ball. As long as Green's getting on the board, they're excited and they're fired up. I thought their defense in the first half looked really, really strong.
Yes.
Kind of fell apart a little bit in that fourth quarter. I think they just took the foot off the gas.
You watched the second half? I'm kidding. Go ahead.
TSN Plus was working.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Boudreau. I thought Boudreau, Messenger, and Hossack really drove the bus defensively and in transition. I think Hossack, again, he's obviously the anchor back there. But the one who jumped off jumped off the page for me was Messenger. Transition player of the year. I think we need to be talking about him potentially. Just a ridiculous video game stat line. He looked like a man possessed. But as the game progressed in that fourth quarter, things kind of came unraveled. And what I will say here, Mike, this is where face-offs certainly matter, because possession after possession after possession, that's how Calgary was able to get back into this game.
Weird,
is because Ignacio kept winning face-offs and they were kept able to go back on the offensive front.
And the Rush at one point, real quick, Cody and John actually said it during the broadcast. The Rush were like just letting him do it because they couldn't beat him because you don't have Naso. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how long Naso's out. I mean,
he was questionable, which is good.
Yes, that is a great point. Like, they got outshot by Calgary. Like, I think honestly, if Naso had, like, I don't want to, you want to talk about an overreaction. I would love to see them replay this game with Naso at the dot, because I don't think that fourth quarter comeback is as triumphant as as it would have been.
20-5 pretty much.
Yeah, because like it would have been a closer battle between those two guys.
Yes,
instead, it's just, all right, possession, let's get it to our offense. Bam, Pace scores. Face off, boom. Now, Cook scores. Bam, face off. Noah Manning scores. Like, it's just, it allows your offense to get back to work, and the momentum stays on your side.
Correct. For me, I said the first time and I'll say it again. Aiden Walsh, congrats to you, sir, because getting that kick in the stomach early kind of, I'm sure, hurt him a little bit. He's like, we know what he's going through from Vancouver to now. And he rode the pine all of the second half of last year. So good for him for coming back in the game and stepping up. Like you said, faceoffs mattered in this one. I think momentum faceoffs always matter. I don't
Of course.
forget the stats of who wins, who doesn't. But when a team is making a run, if you can stop or start it on the dot, because giving your guys more chances to score might actually work out. I don't know. Could be wrong there.
The thing with
the
thing with the faceoffs, and I've always said it. I know I'm one of the bigger proponents that faceoffs in fact do matter, Mike. But for me, it's not every faceoff is created equally as well. But those faceoffs that they needed to win, those momentum ones that you talk about, they had those. They had to have them, and they had them
because of Messenger.
Well, Messenger was great everywhere else except for the faceoff dot, and it's not his fault. He's not a true faceoff guy.
I think the fact that he won 6 though was very impressive, and so just a little sneak peek there. Overreaction / instant reaction time. In the second half, did the Roughnecks prove they are not as bad as we thought?
I think so, and I was starting to drink a little bit of the Kool-Aid earlier that week, talking to the Salamander himself. The belief is in that locker room. After seeing them in preseason, it's like, okay, and I mentioned it on, I think maybe it was on Loose Mesh, maybe it was this program, not too sure. All the shows are blending in at this point.
That's what I'm saying. You're so good at this now.
I never thought scoring the ball was going to be an issue for Calgary. Pace looked outstanding. Dixon was great. Cook came to life in that fourth quarter. Thought he was kind of pedestrian earlier on the game, but he looked great late on. Braden Maye seems to be everyone's breakout star, and he looked great as well. Noah Manning was pretty solid in his first game. Kyle Pepper gets the goal in transition, and it was nasty. I never thought scoring the ball was going to be the issue. The issue is going to be keeping the ball out of the net, and not because of Aiden Walsh, just because there was way too many changes on the back end, and a lot of young guys are going to have to step up. So I will say, yes, they are going to be better than we thought. They're going to knock off a couple of teams that when you're going to look at Preston's picks or who you got or our best bets, and you're going to look and be like, oh my God, they just proved us wrong. Are they now a playoff team? Are they going to be contending and pushing to get up? I don't know. I don't think so. I think this is still a team that misses the playoffs.
That was my fault for throwing you off there with the Kai comments. I'm sorry. You haven't said anything on shutout sessions. Great point. I haven't either, to be fair. To be fair, I haven't either. Because again, this comment that on the come on now. So
I'm waiting for the invite.
So my reaction to that is in the second half they proved they're better than we thought. Yes and no, because do I think they're going to leapfrog anybody in the standings? I don't know who it would be besides the Philadelphia Wings. I don't know, but like you said, do I think if Oshawa still does not have Joe Nardella? Yeah, if Nashville is going to do that, then it absolutely matters. If Oshawa had played this weekend against Calgary, Calgary wins that game. Because Calgary's got the offense.
That's a hot
Calgary's offense would have outperformed, and they would have had the face-off dot. That matters.
It's hard to argue. Like I said, I've never thought this Roughnecks team was going to have an issue scoring this year, and I think they proved that against a very good defensive Saskatchewan team. Now, with that being said, though, interested to talk to the folks this week in Saskatchewan. We do have our TSN game of the week on Friday against Ottawa.
Yeah.
I really want to figure out from Coach Quinlan and some of the other leaders, okay, what happened in that fourth quarter? Was it Calgary really stepped up, or did you feel like you let the foot off the gas and allowed them to get back into it?
I was thinking
interested to hear that.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I actually was like kind of thinking about that too. I was like, maybe they didn't let it go. That's why I didn't go like the full. They're not going to jump anybody in the standings because we don't know yet. But good for Calgary for showing the fight, and they didn't have to. They did not have to. Captain Salamander helped them out, though. Good for him.